Britain's teenage pregnancy rate is the highest in Western Europe. Each year, 60,000 teen mums head for the maternity ward.
It's a terrible position to be in. She's 13, but she's got adult responsibilities.
Their babies are twice as likely to become teenage parents themselves.
It took a couple of weeks to actually sink in that I just had a kid and I'm actually a mum now.
Our schoolgirl mothers are less likely to finish their education or find a job. So why are they doing it?
I felt like I was in love. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it now.
There's no reason why a young girl can't be as good as a mum as what an older person can.
I definitely made the right choice. I think it was the best decision I've ever made in my whole life.
She's having a baby, and she's still a baby herself.
I can't take it anymore.
She's not the first, and she won't be the last. And girls will just get younger.
Having one baby can come as a shock to a teenage girl. Having 3 can turn a life upside down.
What's in there?
At just 16, Natalie Scanlon became Britain's youngest mother of triplets.
When I first found out I was having 3, it was a shock because it was just 3 babies and I've never even seen triplets before.
Natalie's mum was horrified.
I shouldn't have let it happen. I was pregnant at 16, so I didn't want that for Natalie at all. I wanted her to go to college and have a good job and make loads of money, go on holiday with friends and just enjoy teenage years. A boyfriend always told me that he'd always use a condom because he's got 2 other children and she doesn't need to go on the pill, and I should have put her on the pill.
We went for the scan and it took about 45 minutes and they were taking ages, and she just said, well, I can see 3 heads. It was a shock that we were having 1 baby, never mind 3. They said it's 600,000 to 1 or something. We didn't really know what to do. We went to see the doctor and he was talking about different options that you could have, and he said that you could abort 2 of them and keep 1 of them, but it's a high risk of miscarriage for the 3rd one then.
It was just horrendous. It's like, how can you do that? How can you make a choice of something so horrible?
It like sinks into your head that you're having 1 baby, so you want a baby then, and then just from then decided to just go ahead with it.
6 months later, Natalie's identical baby daughters were born.
Ellie come out first, she was £4.4, and then Lily come out. And Lily opened 1 eye and frowned at me. She was £3.9. And then Maddie come out. She was the first one I held. I didn't know what to do with them. We bought all the Moses baskets downstairs, and then we bought a travel cot downstairs to put them all in. We didn't know, we were just swapping and changing and everything, trying to sort out all your bottles and stuff like that.
But that all seems like a long time ago now.
The first year of their life is flown by, it seems. They've just come on doing all different stuff, and now they're nearly walking.
Natalie and the triplets live in a 2-bedroom council house, receiving £150 a week in benefits. Her family helps out with extra cash and childcare, but she'd like to work.
It's hard finding the hours in a job where you can just do like part-time but also see the babies. If they go to bed at 7 o'clock and you get home at 6 o'clock, you're only going to see them for an hour a day. It is non-stop some days when they're being naughty and they won't go to sleep or they're poorly or something like that, then that's annoying.
Go bubbles now. Come on.
The only thing that's changed is like not having as much freedom as you used to have and not being able to do what you want to do all the time. You've got to do what the babies want to do. I think it'll be easier when they get older because it's like now I can't wait for them walking because you can do so much more stuff with them.
I feel for Natalie when she's not in the mood for feeding them and changing them, they're all crying. I feel like she's only 17 and she's got all this big responsibility. And she shouldn't have to. She should be young, free and single and enjoying her life. I think it's very fashionable these days to be a teen mum. It's like all the little Nike trainers and you can dress them up like dolls. No. But when it actually comes down to the nitty-gritty, it's hard work. Dirty nappies, cleaning bottles, making bottles up, clearing up the sick. It's not fairyland. To be a mum, it's hard work.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a baby young, but you've just got to realise that it's going to stop your life as well as everybody else's life around you.
Thomas, don't rub your head in her belly. I didn't. You're not. He's not a nutter, he's your brother. He's a nutter.
Charlotte Maddox is 13. The eldest of 5 children, she's recently become a mother herself.
What are you doing? What do you think of the fact that Charlotte's had a baby?
Pretty amazed, really. I mean, if she's having a baby at 13. What are you laughing at?
They're all pretty switched on and know that it's Charlotte's baby. Even though Thomas said to you, you're too young to have a baby. So they're all quite good. They all realise that Sophie is Charlotte's baby. Not another one Mummy's popped out.
Baby Sophie's birth has taken the whole family by surprise because no one, Charlotte included, knew she was pregnant. A year ago, Charlotte was taken into care because of behavioural problems. She met her first boyfriend while living in a children's home.
I met this boy at the care home. We were stuck going out for a little while, and then eventually I had sex with him. Didn't realise I could get pregnant the first time. It just happened really, in the heat of the moment. No one actually said nothing or anything, it just happened.
Nobody knew that Charlotte was pregnant. She's always been slim. The only thing is that she'd started wearing her puffer jacket, wasn't it? But then again, it's been cold.
And Charlotte kept her secret until the day she went into labour.
Well, Saturday night I found it really uncomfortable because I was tossing and turning. One side I'd be alright for 5 minutes, then I'd toss over again. And that I found it really uncomfortable to sleep.
I thought, oh no, she's got a urine infection. Then it got worse. And I thought, oh no, she's got an appendicitis. We need to get an ambulance. We need to get her to hospital.
My mum said, go and have a shower, and gave me a couple of paracetamol and that. And I couldn't even get in the shower or nothing. And then finally said, I feel like pushing something through.
Said something to me about pregnant. It's almost like I'm pregnant, something along those. And I looked at her and said, don't be stupid, you've got to sleep with someone. Lifted the top up and went, oh my God. And this is just this tiny, tiny bump.
And then 5 minutes later, ambulance crew turned up. And then basically they tried to, sit me somewhere, get a wheelchair or something, take me to the ambulance, but I couldn't because I just ended up giving birth on the bed.
It wasn't till afterwards, come home from the hospital, that didn't happen. How did that happen for days afterwards, walking around, numb.
It took a couple of weeks to actually sink in that I just had a kid and I'm actually a mum now. I wish I could have taken the clock back, but I can't. Probably wish I'd never actually done it or anything, been a bit more careful. Yeah, well, it's happened now. Can't change it.
You all right, Missy?
Like Charlotte, 14-year-old Melissa Jensen's pregnancy wasn't planned.
Is it normal sickness or worse?
It's worse. I've got a water infection on it.
And she hadn't bargained on morning sickness that lasted the whole 9 months either.
She all right? Okay.
I hate it because I know first thing in the morning I'm going to be sick and it's just horrible and it's just the horriblest feeling I've ever had. I'll never want to go through it again. Never. I can't take it anymore. If I knew what pregnancy held for you and how difficult it really was, I would have waited until my body was matured and ready, and just because I think that when my body's so young, it don't want to accept that there's something growing inside of you.
Melissa started having sex just over a year ago.
My first boyfriend I had when I was about 13. I had boyfriends, but nothing as serious as what I did when I first got with him. And by the time I was 14, at my 14th birthday, we first tried sex. I felt like I was in love. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it now. I'd rather be in love and do it than just meet someone for the first time and say, yeah, okay, then do it and never see him again.
I was really upset at the time that she said she was sleeping with him. I couldn't believe it. It just didn't seem right. You couldn't reason with her because her answer was, everyone's doing it now, everyone. So you couldn't reason with her. So I just took a back step and I said to her, don't you get pregnant.
But she did, and her baby girl is due in a month.
New baby goes up to £10. That's tiny baby.
Yeah, but my baby ain't going to be any bigger than that.
Don't, Melissa. Mum.
You know, Melissa's 14. She's still my little girl. And now she's having a baby. She's having a baby, and she's still a baby herself. How is she ever going to cope with this?
Meanwhile, the baby's father is having nothing to do with her.
He left me and he went back to his ex, and now he's starting off a new life while I've got to cope with having a baby on my own.
OK, we've got another pool room just round here.
I had to grow up so quickly. I mean, 14, pregnant, it was a big shock.
She doesn't realise what's to come yet. She has no idea what's coming.
I am scared because I don't know what the future holds for me at all. I hope I'll be a brilliant mum, I really do. I want to be there for her no matter what.
She's not the first, and she won't be the last. And girls will just get younger.
You look fully engaged now. Your stomach is so low.
14-year-old Melissa Jensen's baby is 2 weeks overdue.
Not much longer, Missy.
Then we're going to know when it is labour.
You'll definitely know. When you're on all fours on that floor screaming, you'll know when labour's it.
I've seen on telly people giving birth. It's not put me off, it's just like that's a grown-up woman and she's screaming in pain. What about me? I'm only a child still. How am I going to handle it?
I don't even want to be near the hospital because I don't wish to hear her screams. Because to me, she's still my little girl, and I can't hear that.
Her pain barrier is very low, and I reckon she'll be screaming the place down.
Come on. Missy, come on now. You're making the pain worse. Look, you're making it worse.
Melissa's labour has been induced.
Missy, you're making it worse.
No, I'm just in loads of pain. I know you think I'm just another fucking idiot who's in loads and loads of pain and is hot and gassing it. But look at me. I just want an epidural, please. I'm gonna kill myself because I can't do it anymore. Mummy, please. Will you help me?
Melissa's mum has brought a friend along for support.
Come on, Missy.
Good girl.
All right.
I don't want to see my baby.
Yes, you do. You're going to see her in a minute.
Would you shut the fuck up?
Fantastic.
All right.
Feel it burning.
All right.
Good girl.
Oh my God, I can see her.
Yeah. Missy, it's going to burn like anything.
Missy.
Right, give me a big push. Big push. Big push.
She's out. She's out. She's out. She's a girl. He did it.
After a 3-hour labour, baby Taya is born.
Congratulations. Let's have a little peek at
I've done it.
You did it.
I've done it.
You did it. Hello, beautiful. Yeah. There she is. Here's your granddad.
Look what you've done to me. You made me a granddad.
Look, she's got my nose.
Man, she's gorgeous.
Overwhelmed, I can't really explain it. I can't believe she's mine. She's absolutely gorgeous. I can't, it's just such an amazing feeling. Everyone was saying about this feeling that you get when you first have your baby, and now I know what it's like.
Happy birthday to
Charlotte is celebrating her 14th birthday.
Birthday, dear Charlotte. Happy birthday to you. Hey! Right, who's going to hand the presents?
Baby Sophie's now 3 months old, and for Charlotte, the novelty is wearing thin.
Champagne!
Especially as her parents have bought presents for the baby as well.
I'm getting everything for Sophie! Even in my birthday!
Charlotte, I think that's been a bit ungrateful. She's a typical teenager in an awful lot of ways still. The language and the strops. What are you crying for? What are you crying for?
Sometimes, like, when I'm not with Sophie, it's like, I ain't got a kid. But when I come back, it's like, oh, God, I have.
Charlotte hasn't bonded with Sophie from her birth. Charlotte carries on doing everything and expects everybody to drop everything for her.
Charlotte's been off school since the birth. Today, she's going back.
I feel, like, nervous because bitchy girls and that are gonna, like, slag me off and stuff like that, but I sort of want to go back to school.
And her parents are hoping she'll learn a lot more about sex. In most European countries, sex education is compulsory and comprehensive, while in Britain, it's neither. But research shows that girls who've had more than 10 sex education lessons are far less likely to get pregnant.
And just because she's had a baby doesn't mean that she should miss on her education.
Charlotte only had one sex education lesson at school, and she was then banned from the class, wasn't she?
For being disruptive.
For being disruptive.
Right, shut the bottle and I'm off now, all right?
All right, thank you. Have a good day. School bag.
Okay.
Go on.
Oh, thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
In some ways it is going to be okay because I need a break from her so I can be myself and just be normal for a while.
Teenage pregnancy rates have fallen sharply throughout Europe over the past 2 decades. But in Britain, they've hardly changed. 100,000 young girls become pregnant each year, with those in inner city areas 6 times as likely. Nicola Harmer's twins, Malachi and Elijah, were born 5 months ago.
Sometimes I sit and I think, oh, I can't believe I've got 2. Sometimes it's scary, and then sometimes it just makes me feel proud, like, you know.
But Nicola never wanted to be a schoolgirl mum.
I was on contraception, but I got sick, and nobody told me that if I got sick, it wouldn't work. Well, I'd got morning sickness, and I'd missed a period, so my first reaction was to take the test, and it came back positive. I decided quite early on I wasn't going to have an abortion. My mum thought I was too young. She wanted me to have an abortion.
Get some salad, please.
Nicola was living at home with her 2 younger brothers when she discovered she was pregnant. Her mum, Jill, was devastated.
She just got her exam results, 11 A to C grades in GCSEs. She was meant to be going to university, and I begged her to have an abortion. I begged the boyfriend, I'll pay you money, tell Nicola have an abortion. And I cried and I cried and I cried. She was 17 years old and she had the whole world ahead of her. We don't come from a very educated family. She was going to be the first one to go to university. I think she moved out straight away. And I realised I had to kind of make a decision. I was either going to be a mother that stuck to my guns and never saw Nicola again, or I could say, OK, you're going to do this, so let's just do it.
At 12 weeks came the scan and the news about the twins.
I was horrified. I think I went completely white. I didn't say a thing for about an hour.
I was very worried then once it sunk in. Oh, but I didn't think she'd cope with 1. How's she going to cope with 2?
Like half Britain's teenage parents, Nicola and her boyfriend split up before the babies were born. So she was on her own.
As it got nearer to their birth, I got very nervous in the end. Would I know how to look after them? Would I do it right? Would I be a good mother? They came at 37 weeks. I had to have a cesarean. It's finally sunk in that, well, not only are they here, but there is definitely two here. Hiya! What are you doing?
After being so worried about how Nicola would cope, her mum's been amazed at the change in her.
The first day she came home, it was obvious that everything was going to be all right. I think Nicola's doing absolutely fantastic. She's got them in a fantastic routine. She's done better than me.
But Nicola believes others judge her wrongly.
When you're walking down the street, people will just put you in a stereotype. Young girls won't make good mums. There's no reason why a young girl can't be as good as a mum as what an older person can.
I think there's a huge assumption out there that young girls are getting pregnant and it's because they want free housing, they want lots of money, and they don't want any of the responsibility that goes with it. But it's a myth because they don't get free housing, they don't get lots of money. Nicola got nothing at all when she was pregnant.
Nicola chose to continue living at home, so she's unlikely to be offered council accommodation. She now receives benefits of £160 a week.
I think we shouldn't judge a book by its cover. We don't in life for anybody else. We don't walk down the street judging people as we walk past them, thinking, oh, you're short, so you're this, you're tall, so you're this. So I don't think we should judge young mums like that.
I couldn't ever see my life without them. Not at all. Now they're here. They're everything to me.
Being a teenage parent is never easy, but it's even harder when your baby has special needs.
So, Mummy, do you want a car?
Simone Coote gave birth to her son Ivan, who has Down syndrome, when she was 16.
A big book. I was in school when I fell pregnant, so it was quite hard deciding whether to keep the baby or not, because I wanted to go to college.
And it was quite a tough decision because, my point of view, I wasn't earning a great deal of money, so I mean, financially, was we going to be able to cope? It was going to be the biggest choice of our lives.
But here we are. It's the best choice we made.
The moment Ivan was born, doctors realised something was wrong.
We got took into a room and they told us that he might have Downs, and it's just sort of, oh my God, that sounds horrible, but he's not going to be able to do anything at all. What is his life going to be like? Are we going to cope?
The first thing that went through my head was, am I going to ever be able to have a conversation with my son? Is he ever going to be able to come down the park, and is he going to be able to run around and kick a football? We didn't really know what to think, how to act or react, but it was a blessing in disguise, really, wasn't it? He's a little star.
Ivan, do you want the music on? Say music.
When Ivan was just 6 months old, Simone became pregnant again.
I went on the pill at 16 and I did fall pregnant on the pill, and it was the same with Lincoln. What is it? You like this song as well, don't you? When I was pregnant, there's always that worry that there's going to be something wrong. It sat at the back of your mind. And then when he was born, he was fine. He started lifting his head up really early. And then 4 months come, and his legs kept going in. Where he was rolling over, he was going stiff. He wasn't passing things from hand to hand. All different little things you just notice. And I was like, well, this isn't right. He needs to be seen. Hi.
Hi. Doctors told them there was a strong possibility that Lincoln had cerebral palsy.
It wasn't so much of a shock this time. We knew there was something wrong because he wasn't progressing the way he should be progressing.
Pull yourself, pull. Good boy.
That was a year ago, and Lincoln's condition is still being assessed.
We don't really know what to expect of Lincoln yet. We're in the process of finding out the ins and the outs and the do's and the don'ts. He's just learning how to use his expressions and his little noises that he can make. His personality is really starting to come out now, isn't it? Now he's getting a bit more confident. We just take it as it comes, and if he says a new word tomorrow, then he says a new word tomorrow. It's great.
Yeah. You can knock.
And now, at just 19, Simone's expecting a third child.
I was shocked again when they said they was having this third one, but hey, it's life. You get on with it, you cope.
I think we get criticised more for having this one. Now everyone's found out about Lincoln.
There's a lot of, are you crazy?
Yeah.
You know, do you need your head
These
tested?
silly people, really,
Yeah.
but the way I see it, if we can cope with two, we can cope with three.
I'm so proud of the way they have coped. Any normal, sane person, I think they'd have cracked. I know I would.
What is it, Ivan? What's on the book?
Nothing seems to faze Simone at all. I have the boys on the occasion when I'm needed to, and I'm absolutely shattered at the end of the day. I really don't know how she does it.
No, not the oven. Hot.
In my eyes, they're the best parents possible.
It's all right.
You hear little bits and pieces now and again. Oh, they're too young, they'll never cope. And we found out Ivan had got Downs. People's attitude was, oh, they were so sorry that this had happened. But there was nothing to be sorry about.
Oh.
2 months later, and Simone's in labour again. After already having 2 children with special needs, she's been warned there's a high chance of giving birth to another.
Keep breathing, darling. That's all right.
5 hours later, Mia Grace is born. Weighing 10 pounds, 3 ounces.
She's okay, yeah?
Yeah, she looks fine, but the paediatricians, you know, will check her
Yeah,
over
no, that's fine.
properly tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, you're a good girl, aren't you?
It's sticking her tongue out.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, brilliant. It's a little chunker.
Well done.
It's now a month since 15-year-old Melissa gave birth to baby Taya. Back home with her parents, the thrill of becoming a new mum has given way to exhaustion.
When you get up in the morning, you know what day you've got ahead of you. Feeding, changing, winding, playing, cleaning up sick, changing their bums, sterilising, make up things. It's just the same every day.
No, I told you, get your dick up first.
Still, she's found time to make a new friend.
He's recording us, that's not good. Yeah.
Leaving her own mother holding the baby.
All I can say with Melissa is the novelty has worn off. There's a lot of hard work and she's found that out.
All right. I thought I'd find it really easy being a mum. Obviously got it all wrong.
Tiffany Carroll hasn't got long to go before her baby is due. But the 17-year-old is having trouble accepting what's about to happen.
I never expected to be pregnant at a young age. I always thought that I would either be married, be really rich, have a wicked car first, and then have children after. But it never really works out that way, does it? Some days I feel like I don't want to have the baby and I made the wrong choice. But it's just because of how people make you feel.
I was very disappointed. It's not what I wanted for her at all. But I just assumed that Tiffany would want to have termination. I just took it for granted that she wouldn't want to have the baby. I think I was actually thinking more about what I wanted than what Tiff actually wanted.
Tiffany is now 7 months pregnant. Today, she's having a scan to check the baby's development.
Oh my gosh, look how big it is now. Would you be able to tell me what I'm having today?
Looks like a boy.
I knew it! Oh my gosh.
Did you know?
I had a feeling that it was a boy. I wanted a girl. I don't know whether I'm mature enough to have my child, but every time I go for the scan or I hear the heartbeat, that changes my mind because I know that I will be a good mum. But I really did want a girl.
You're a lovely little boy. She's very childlike sometimes. She's quite naive as well.
You know how the features are in the on the thing? Do they actually come out really like that?
She is still quite immature, but she's going to grow up now, I suppose.
14-year-old Charlotte is finding it hard to be a mother, but she's had a break from it today. She's just finished her first day back at school.
First day was alright. Still everyone could be a bit bitchy, but they weren't. Hello, Daddy.
Hello.
The whole family is heading off to the stables which Charlotte's mum and dad run. But once there, Charlotte soon forgets about baby Sophie. It's something that's happening increasingly often.
It's, oh, can you have Sophie for 5 minutes? Or handing Sophie over to the other children. Oh, can you just watch her a minute? And just trying to find ways of getting out of actually having to do anything with Sophie for any length of time. Even though she can still come up and do the horses, she's still got to remember that Sophie's here with us. And it's not my job to go and to see Sophie, it's her job, because she is Sophie's. Mum says, Granny, that's somehow sat here bottle feeding. It's just like having your own again. Come and see your daughter.
So?
Just in time to change your nappy.
I'm not changing that bloody nappy.
What nappy?
Bloody nappy.
It's not a bloody nappy. Are you going to go to Mum?
Well.
Yes, come on, you've been at school all afternoon.
Not all afternoon, for 2 lessons with her.
That's all afternoon, and it's not since 12.
Yeah, you do stink a bit, don't you? Ah, for fuck's sake. Don't tell me to go to the toilet. You're all right.
Because she's relied on everybody else around her too much.
Oh, you little rat. You little bit. And you can go back to Granny.
I mean, it's our fault, but, you know, if we didn't, then Sophie wouldn't be getting the attention that she needed.
Charlotte's parents want her to take more responsibility for Sophie. But to make that happen, they need the help of an expert.
You're going to have your bottle now, are we? Yeah? Are we?
Professional nanny Susie Whiteock has been teaching new mothers how to care for their babies for 20 years.
Good girl. That's a good girl, Katie Cook. A lot of my work is lawyers and bankers, and I've worked for some royalty as well. It can really vary. Most of my parents are in their late 30s, early 40s. You'll be amazed, even though they've read the books, you know, about childcare, it's still, you know, it's completely different when you actually have the baby and have to put it into practice. There we go, my precious. There.
But now Susie will be teaching mothers who are much younger. She's about to take charge of Britain's first teen mum school.
We have teenage mums who, for whatever fault, they've got pregnant. You know, the fact is they've got a baby and we have to deal with that. The baby's here to stay, you know, the mum is the only mum they're going to have. It's so important that they get it right.
We've offered Charlotte, Melissa, Tiffany and Nicola the chance to spend a week with Susie in the New Forest to see what they can learn from her. It'll be the first time any of them has been away from their parents and looking after their babies on their own.
Hi, Melissa. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sue. Hi. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, I'm Susie.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, Charlotte. Hi. This is Nicola and Malachi. And this is Tiffany.
Hello.
And this is Melissa.
Hello.
And this is Charlotte.
Hello.
Susie wastes no time getting started. While the babies have their morning nap, Melissa, Tiffany and Charlotte get their first lesson on the importance of routine.
The routine gives you confidence and it makes you feel as a mum you know what you're doing. Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to start, I'm going to give you a routine.
It's a whole new concept for them.
Now, first of all, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be knocking on your door at 6:45. OK? I know you look... So that's why I say early tonight to bed.
I'm not going to hear you. Why does it have to be so early? Like,
In the morning.
But the reason it has to be early, what time do you go to school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? So just keep to that 7, 8, 9, 10,
So when do we
okay?
get time for our sale to get dressed?
You've got 45 minutes, okay? Now, this is what I'm saying about how much work is involved in preparing for your baby. 11 o'clock, you've got playtime with baby. 11:45, sleep. 12:45, wake up, same again. 1 o'clock, feed.
Are we not allowed to go back to sleep after that feed?
No. You've got to say, my needs come second and the babies come first. And then really, that's what the sort of, you know, attitude you've got to have.
Nicola's got a good daytime routine going, but the twins keep her up all night.
I put them in the bed, asleep. I don't put them in awake. And then they can wake up between 2, 3 times.
Susie's an expert at getting babies to sleep through the night, but Nicola must learn how to let the twins settle themselves.
I mean, how will you feel putting them down awake and them having a little cry?
I don't like to leave them crying.
You don't like to? Not even for a little bit control crying? I mean, I've
never left them crying.
Yeah. Because I'm really here to help you, Nicola. You know, whatever way I can help you, and I'll work with you. But I've done so many babies, trust me, it works.
I'll give it a go.
It's not going to harm them.
No.
Trust me.
But Nicola's not ready to let go just yet. She allows the twins to fall asleep in her arms as usual.
Take her and wake her up. You can take her upstairs and lay her on the...
It's only the first day, but as it draws to a close, Charlotte's already getting bored of looking after Sophie.
Can I taste the chocolate out with me?
Take your chocolate, but I think your priority should be Sophie.
Yeah, all right then.
No, take her upstairs and try and wake her up. Put her on her mat. They've got a lot to learn. They know they've got responsibilities to the babies. They do know that, you know. But at the same time, what they're saying is, oh, well, I've washed and fed you. You know, I can't wait to put you down to sleep, then I can get myself ready and, you know, do my thing.
Charlotte's unhappy. She's not used to taking orders.
I've just been told to sit up here and I've got to apparently keep Sophie awake and I don't know why I can't go downstairs with everyone else. And I've still got, like, what, 15 minutes to go?
With Charlotte, I'm shocked that Sophie's 3 months and there seems to be no actual basic care. Pick her up. It seems like she hasn't got a clue what to do. All right, my darling, all right, OK. The pair of them, they're not used to being timed. They're not used to working round the clock. It's like, well, I'll feed her whenever, I'll change her whenever. And that's how it is, because that's the attitude. Now that's got to be re-educated and retrained.
Nicola's put the twins down for the night, but one of them has just woken up.
Just give him a couple of more minutes.
Susie has asked her not to rush up and settle him. But she can't resist. And as the night wears on, things go from bad to worse.
Morning, girls.
It's the first time the girls have had to get up this early.
Charlotte, wakey, wakey, Mum. You getting up now, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm just trying to wake myself up.
Wake yourself up, because baby's got to be fed, it's got to be changed and fed now. So you're going to get up now?
I want to go back to sleep.
You can't go to sleep, Charlotte, you've got to get up.
Yeah,
we had a chat yesterday. Baby's needs have got to come first.
I don't want to get up.
I know you don't, dear, but we've all had to get up, sweetie, and we're all tired.
Nicola's also up early with the twins after her terrible night.
It's upsetting because the other babies are younger and they're doing it. They're sleeping through, and these two, they're terrible. Susie suggested settling them down for themselves so that I could put them down awake. It could work, but I just think that they're too old now, where they've had 5 months of being settled. That if they were to settle themselves now would really upset them, and I don't think I could take that.
Charlotte's out of bed, but in no mood to get on with the new routine.
You ready, my dear? OK, then. Listen, because we did say 6:45 to start their feeds, and this is what I mean. If we're doing things after, it sort of goes past that feedy time. OK, and she will get a bit stressed out. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I know, you're going to have your feed, sweetie. I know, you're a hungry girl. I know, my sweetie. There we go. I know. I know. There you go. Here comes Mummy. OK, then. Shh. Keep her upright. Do you remember what I said about keeping her upright? OK?
Susie wants the girls to spend more time one-on-one with their babies so they can learn how to bond.
What I'm going to do with you today, I want you to interact and play with her, and I'm going to be watching you. Yes, I am, young lady. I'm going to be watching you.
Gives us a smile.
Melissa is eager to show she can do it, but Charlotte refuses.
Come on, kneel down with her. Come on, kneel next to her. Come on, have a coo with her. Just talk. Go on, don't be embarrassed in front of me. You don't have to be embarrassed in front of me. And you should never be embarrassed. Come on. Come on, come on, kneel down, otherwise I can't.
Changed her.
Why when you changed her when she's happy now?
Everybody wants to read.
Look, she's saying, look, Mummy, look at me, look. This is where I'm saying the interaction between you and Sophie, when she looks at you and you look at her. Just interact with her, just look at her, touch her, like that.
Hello.
Oh, look. Oh, look.
Hey, who's that tail?
We hit a real nerve this morning with Charlotte. There does seem to be this problem with bonding. How does she expect her to develop? How does she expect her to communicate if she's not communicating with her daughter? Look, she's looking at you, laughing. Oh, Charlotte, look, she's looking at you. See, she knows you're her mum. You know, babies react to expressions on your face, you know, the tone of your voice. If she's not having that, how is she going to express herself? How's she going to let her mum know her needs and what she wants?
I don't actually really want to play with Sophie when people are around because I feel like they're going to say that I'm doing this wrong, that wrong and everything wrong.
I think with Charlotte, it's the stubbornness of her age. She is only 14, but at the same time, you can make certain amount of allowances, but when it involves the baby's care, I'm sorry, you can't, you know, you can't give way there. Right, sweetie, so you're going to come, you've only got a short time, Charlotte, and I'd like to spend that little bit of time with Sophie.
But I don't want...
Well, let me just...
everyone watching me.
Well, put your phone down a minute. OK, put your phone down. The baby's needs are not being met. Emotionally as well. If that's not catered for, then it's going to have, you know, a profound effect on the baby.
Every year in Britain, thousands of babies born to teenage mums are brought up without their fathers. 11,000 of them don't have their dad's name on their birth certificates. But Dax Christian from Norwich isn't your average young father. He and his wife Susie have had a child every year since Dax was 16 and she was 14.
Hope was the first one. He's now 5. She's the sensible one of them all.
Definitely
She's...
more relaxed than the rest of them.
Then came Nisha, who's 4. She's very scatty. Then there's Ethan, our first boy, who's 3. And I would say Ethan's a typical boy. He loves his cars, loves his train, loves his bikes.
Dirt, any chance to dig.
And then there's Neo, who's now 2. He's going to be a typical boy. He's going to give us the terrible twos, definitely. And then there's River. River's 7 months, and obviously he's still getting his character. His character's now coming out, but he's very happy.
He's always got a smile on his face. He's got giggles for everyone. We didn't really do the whole teenage thing. We kind of went from, well, early teens to parenthood. I just always wanted to get married and settle down, even from, well, yeah, from early teens. It's always been the plan.
Got a lovely mixture, don't we? Pasta.
Susie and Dax met 6 years ago.
It was at high school where we met. And, yeah, for 6 months, I suppose, it was just us doing our normal things.
But soon, just being boyfriend and girlfriend wasn't enough for Susie. At the age of 14, she wanted to start a family.
So I loved him loads. I knew we would be together forever. And I wanted his baby, and we did. It took me a couple of weeks to persuade Dax, but yeah, after that he was like, yeah, OK, then we will.
Since before I met Susie, I knew that I wanted children and settle down. I wasn't aware that it was going to happen quite so quickly at a young age, but so once me and Susie met, we knew it was the right thing to do for us.
When Susie gave birth to Hope in 2001, Dax had to grow up fast.
Complete overwhelming feeling when Hope was born. I mean, with all of them it has been, but particularly with Hope because she was the first. I was only 15 at the time. That was my sort of decision to stop going to school then and start working. Started working from sort of 2 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, sort of a couple of different jobs. I mean, obviously I wasn't earning enough money to privately rent, so we were sort of council houses.
When he was 17, Dax was diagnosed with arthritis, so they decided to have the large family they dreamt of before his condition worsened.
We sort of knew that we wanted sort of 5 children. We knew we wanted a few children, so it just sort of seemed to make sense to have them all at once. And yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble because of my arthritis and sort of problems that I've got.
At 21, his arthritis means he's now unable to work, and the family relies on benefits.
A lot of people sort of think, well, we'll have children so we can get a house and move out. But that's not really been our priority. Our priority has been to have children, but we never really wanted to sort of scrounge off benefits. And we all want to work. We've worked as much as we can, and like I said, I'll hopefully get back to work soon.
Oh, you sausage.
But in the meantime, they're living in a 4-bedroom council house and receiving £1,500 a month in benefits.
I think teenage parents generally are frowned upon because of the whole sort of benefit fraud. A lot of people, if they're working and paying tax, they think they're paying for the teenage parents to sort of bring up their children, and unfortunately that does happen sometimes.
But Dax and Susie believe it's their right to raise a large family, and they've no regrets.
I'll come in a minute.
Our life is definitely very full and very busy, but it's quite fulfilling. We've always got plenty of stuff to do and plenty of mouths to feed.
Keeps us
busy. It's all good fun. I definitely don't think we've missed out on anything in life through sort of having children so young. You do sometimes you think, well, no, it'd be quite nice that I've got friends that sort of, you know, one week, oh, we're going to go on holiday next week. And that would be lovely, but then I look at the family and think, well, this is what I actually wanted.
Yeah, we've got our babies now. Come on then.
Back in the New Forest, it's day 4 of our teen mum school, and there's a pleasant surprise for Susie.
Morning, girls. Morning.
Both Charlotte and Melissa have got up at 6:30 without any prompting.
Well done, Charlotte, for getting up this morning. I'm very pleased, you know, that they've actually both got up. They're taking that responsibility. It's not been easy, but they're gradually taking it.
Did you miss me? The light's not supposed to be on this side.
Tiffany hasn't got a baby waking her yet, but that's about to change.
Oh, my God.
This is our little surprise. This is our baby. This is what we call a virtual baby. And it's got a computer in, so we know exactly how you're monitoring the baby.
Okay.
And it's going to act like a newborn baby.
A newborn?
A newborn baby. It's going to have needs, and they will register to let us know how you're caring for the baby. When he cries, you have to determine, is he hungry? Does he need winding?
All
If
right.
you rock him and he's still crying, then he might need a nappy change.
Okay.
So, and I think it's going to give you a bit more confidence than you had before. Would you like to hold? What would you like to call him? Give him a name while you have him.
Don't know. So now I'm gonna definitely have to get up every time he cries in the night.
Yeah.
No sleeping in for me.
No, take your leg away.
With their babies sleeping, Charlotte and Melissa decide to let their hair down. The older girls are not impressed.
For their age, they're a bit undermature.
We're so much more wiser than them. They are still really, really young. And Charlotte, you can tell that she's just not ready to be a mum at all. I just feel really, really sorry for her because, I don't know.
But she's been here since Sunday and you can see the big difference that it's made. Now that someone's helping her with the routine, she's actually starting to realise that she has to do these things.
But there's still lots to learn.
Now sometimes if they feel a bit insecure, take a flannel and just lay it across. That heaviness makes them feel secure. They do need their self-esteem built up because they're not encouraged, you know, they're not praised enough, you know. It's like, oh, well, you got pregnant, now you get on with it, you know, and do this and do that. And there's never like, oh, yeah, you've done a good job.
And next up, lessons to motivate and encourage them.
What do you think young mothers need more than anything else? High self-esteem. You really have to have belief in yourself.
So if you want your child to grow up and love food and not be a fussy eater, the best thing to do is to start them off on fresh food to begin with. And it's not as difficult as you might think. Has anyone seen one of these before? This is a steamer. If you steam something, all the vitamins stay in the vegetable. If you boil it, about 60% of the vitamins get lost in the water. It's a huge difference.
Charlotte is still having trouble bonding with baby Sophie. And Susie's hoping that this session might help.
So why is it good to massage a baby? Why? It's good for, yes, it's relaxing. It's good for bonding. And it's good to talk to your baby when you do it, because there's nothing as reassuring as your voice.
Right from the start, Charlotte is reluctant to join in.
And you can go in, out, shake it all about. In, out, shake it all about. And you can go, row, row, row the boat gently down.
And soon the other girls are losing patience with her.
Life is but a dream.
Don't sing to her, just move her legs about. It's not fair. Everyone else is getting one and she's not. Look.
Oh, we get paranoid, is it?
Just don't sing to her.
Don't stop.
Would you just pick her up?
Show her a bit of love, for God's sake.
The class continues, but Charlotte has lost interest.
Enjoying our babies gives our babies the message that they are loved and liked, and it helps their brain to develop. So it's actually in mother smiling at her baby that we are helping the babies to develop in such a way that they have an easier life later on and they find it easier to communicate with other people, with you.
Charlotte, you're really getting on my nerves. Just stop being silly. Put down your mobile phone and deal with your daughter.
Now, I think.
I'm being forced into nothing if I don't want to do it.
Nobody's forcing you into anything. What they're saying is...
But they're sounding like they were, though. No, I'm
Yeah.
playing. I'm like, no, get lost.
I know, but you're more interested in your mobile phone than you are Sophie. They're just watching and they're just thinking that you're not caring for Sophie. You're not bothered.
Yeah, they just think what they like. They can do good stuff where I care.
Is that why you got up and walked out? Because of what Tiffany said to you?
Yeah, because I would have shouted at them. I would have gone in an argument, maybe even a fight.
No, it's silly to get in a fight. It's silly because you're a mum now. You may be a teenager, but you're not just a teenager. You're a teenager mum. And, you know, you've got to start thinking and saying to yourself, well, I've got Sophie to think of. I can't behave like that.
With the massage session over, Susie moves on to Nicola, who's still refusing to let the twins settle themselves back to sleep.
I just want to help you. I just want to try and sort, they've got a sleeping problem through the night. That's why I wanted to help you. And I appreciate, you've got anxieties, letting them cry. I know that and I appreciate that and I understand that because it's not easy for a mum to do that. I mean, I just want to help you. I just want to advise you as much as I can, but it's up to you if you take that advice.
She won't. So it's another sleepless night for them all. Meanwhile, Tiffany's getting her first taste of what's to come.
Last night, he kept crying every 3 hours. And every 3 hours I had to feed him for an hour. And then I had to rock him for ages. It's really hard.
Finally, Nicola's ready to take Susie's advice. When Malachi wakes up during his morning nap, she has her first go at what Susie calls controlled crying.
Just give him a couple of more minutes.
I feel like someone's ripped my heart out. I could cry. But it's for their own benefit. It has to be done.
They've got to learn, and because I've done it for so many years now, I do know how much it benefits the babies. But you stop crying now.
Can I go and check he's okay?
Yeah. I'd like to come with you.
It's worked, and it's a breakthrough for Nicola.
I don't let people help with them. I have too much pride.
Yeah.
It's like being proud that someone's going to turn around and say, oh, she's like everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I
She
said
can't
this
look
morning.
after
That's
them.
what I felt. If I do something for you, it doesn't make you a lesser mum.
Tiffany's about to find out how well she's been doing as a real-life mum to a virtual baby. A computer inside the doll has been recording her efforts.
Well,
do you think it's helped you? Has it given you some feeling of experience already?
yeah, the tiredness, definitely, because I'm really tired now. So I'm going to go home and go to bed.
Oh, well, I'm here now with the control unit. Let's see how you did. Right. This control unit records how well you did. It gives you a percentage score. And you've done 96%.
Out of what?
So you've done really well. There's 2 missed cares. Let me tell you what they are. You missed 2 nappy changes, which at the end of the day is not a big deal. I think that you've done a great job. And I'm glad that it's given you some experience for when the real one comes along.
Yeah.
It's the end of the week at Teen Mum School. So, do the girls think it's been worth it?
Hello. Hello, gorgeous. I have become a better mother. I've seen such a big change between me and Taya, and I don't want to ruin that because that's what's brought our bond is the routine because I know exactly what she wants and when she needs it. So I will definitely stick to this routine. Definitely.
I'm just glad I've had the chance to learn what I have before I've had my baby rather than after because how I expected it to be is nothing like how it's going to be.
I've learnt a lot. I'm going to go home and take on what she said and hopefully try and get them through the night.
And Charlotte has learnt the most important lesson of all.
I'm sort of getting used to the idea that she's mine. It'll take a while to actually fully think, oh my God, I'm a mum. But it'll take a while.
Okay, thank you.
You take care.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Thanks
You've
for
done well.
everything.
And Joe, good girl.
Bye.
It has been a success. When I look at it, it's been a hard week, but I feel that I've tackled quite a lot with them, and I feel each individual one of them has got something from it. And you take care as well, sweet. Okay. Bye.
Thanks for your help.
Tiffany's really come on, and the fact that Nicola came with the twins was a godsend because she actually practiced a lot of what she wanted to on the babies, and it'd be great now when she gets back to be able to put that into practice when she has the baby. For Nicola, I've got high hopes because, the boys have got a really loving mum and she really cares.
You'll be fine, Charlotte.
Try.
Right. You are going to be communicating with your daughter next time I see you.
I'm very surprised how Melissa's actually progressed. She's really sort of just gone in leaps and bounds, really.
Because you're a brilliant mum, okay?
Okay, so are you.
Take care, Taya.
Take care. care. Don't forget what you've learned, OK? I mean, with Charlotte, I spent a lot more time with her than the others because I know it's needed. I've tried to teach her as much as I can, and whether that will stay with her, I don't know.
It's been a month since our teen mum school ended, and now Susie's going to see if the girls are sticking to what she's taught them. Before the school, Melissa left everything to her mum when it came to caring for Taya.
Melissa was a part-time mum. She'd always go out with her mates. I'd sterilise, babysit, feed the baby, change the baby, everything.
So how's she doing now?
Hello, dear. Fine, how are you? Yeah, right. You look well. Yeah. What's it been like now that you're home and trying to implement the routine and things that you learnt in the house?
I've been sticking to the routine, still getting up at 6:45 in the morning just to make sure, because I know what sort of baby she is now, and I want to get up and do it for her. It's been going really, really well.
It's great. She's completely transformed. I mean, I'm so proud of her. I've done a really good job with her. Before, she just wanted a childhood, be a normal teenager.
Yeah.
Now, she wants to be a mum. It's brilliant.
If she was to slip back and say to you, well, I want you to do it, what would you say to her?
I say no.
Good. She may feel you're being horrible, but to me, that is giving her support.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is, no, you are the mum, it's your responsibility. I'll support you, but I'm not taking over your role.
Oh, come here. I'm tired. I think I am a really good mother now because I'm there for her no matter what she needs. I have a laugh with her, I play with her, I put her to bed, I'm there when she cries. Before I wasn't there when she needed that, and now I am.
Next, it's a catch-up with Nicola and the twins.
Hello, dear. Nice to see you again.
Nicola's 5-month-old twins, Elijah and Malachi, were keeping her up all night. But now she's learnt to recognise when they need attending to and when they can settle themselves back to sleep.
Who's that crying, Nicola?
It's Elijah.
It's Elijah. What do you think? He's got wind? Yeah. So what you're going to do now, go up and just wind him and see if he'll settle back down? Yeah. OK, then let's go up
And she's also learned another important lesson. It's OK to take help and advice from other people.
I think it was more my pride to let somebody else tell me that I was doing something wrong and that there was another way of doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to think because I'm young I can't cope and I have to ask for help because I don't know what to do. It took a while, but it got in eventually.
I'm glad.
Next, Susie's off to see 14-year-old Charlotte.
You're going to go to Mum? Mum? Yes, come on, you've been at school all afternoon.
Charlotte was Susie's toughest challenge. She resented having to look after her baby.
You're all right.
Hi, nice to meet you. You must be Samantha.
Yeah, and this is Troy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi. Come in. Come in. When she came back, she seemed better, but with Charlotte, it swings and roundabouts. All of a sudden, she seems to have come off the rails again. She's been truanting, she's been getting into trouble with friends, she's fallen out with friends, and poor little Sophie, you know, bless her, sometimes I don't think poor little Sophie knows, you know, what mood Mum's going to be in today. 1 minute, she's all lovey-dovey and, oh, I love you, you're so gorgeous. Next minute, Sophie's being shouted at, well, stop crying. If Charlotte carries on going downhill, then Sophie will be removed from her care and placed into our care, and how that will work, I don't know. Because the last thing we want to do is take our daughter's daughter off of her and bring her up. But not just that, Charlotte being Charlotte, we would never be allowed to forget that that was the decision that we made.
Despite everything, Charlotte's determined to be Sophie's mum.
I feel that she's mine and she's no one else's, and I love her basically.
How do you sort of feel being how do you cope with being a teenage mum?
It's a bit annoying being a mum as well as a teenager because I just want to go out with my mates and stuff like that. But if I go out, I've got to take Sophie, and it's like really annoying. You changed now, madam?
I mean, with Charlotte, it's not the ideal situation that she's had a baby at 14. I've tried to teach her as much as I can, And whether that will stay with her, I don't know. I mean, I can honestly say that I don't know. It's very sad because she's 14 and a very young 14.
A lot has changed for Tiffany since her spell at teen mum school. Mackay was born 2 weeks after she returned home.
You can't believe that this little thing was inside you. He just looked so beautiful. It was just such a big, it was so overwhelming. As soon as it was placed on me, I felt love for him. I think that I've fallen in love with him and bonded with him. I do actually feel like a mum now, really, like a mum.
A few weeks later, and time for a home visit from Susie.
Hello, Tiffany. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Lovely to see you.
Since Tiffany's had the baby, she and her boyfriend have hit a rough patch.
You're really crying, aren't you? In the beginning, I was really upset and I was always crying and that because I didn't understand why he wasn't there all the time. It's just a bit difficult to realise that, when you're somebody's girlfriend, everything just changes a bit when you have a baby. But now, I actually don't even care if Mark's not there because it's his loss. I definitely made the right choice to have Mackay. I think it was the best decision I've ever made in my whole life.
But for one young couple at least, having children early has strengthened their relationship. Today, Simone and Dwayne are getting married.
I'm getting really excited about the wedding. This past week I've been getting crunches in my belly and I just have to squeeze my hands. Woo! Getting really, really excited, can't wait.
Baby Mia is now 10 weeks old. Because her brother Ivan was born with Down syndrome and her brother Lincoln with cerebral palsy, she's had to have a series of medical tests. Happily, she's fine.
Everything's just perfect now. It's just, today's just going to be the start of our new lives together and everything afresh. It's just got to be good from now on, so it's going to be great.
In the presence of God and before this congregation, Simone and Dwayne have given their consent and made their marriage vows to each other.
We've been through a lot the past 4 years and it's like the start of our new life together. It's a happy ending. We've got 3 brilliant children. We'll get through anything else. So it's a happy ending.
I therefore proclaim that they are husband and wife.